So Congress has the oil executives up in front of committee again. I guess this is going to be a yearly thing as long as the Democrats are in office, because they promised us they were going to get these oil prices down, and they haven't seemed to be able to get them down, so they at least got to pretend like they're giving these guys a hard time, or they're going to start to look bad here pretty quickly. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they already look like dummies. But, you know, this whole thing is just funny. You know, and I kind of find myself rooting for the oil industry guys, and these idiot senators up there hammering away on these guys, and the stupid senators or representatives, whoever they are, they act like these 5 guys could somehow, with the stroke of a pen, change the price of oil if they wanted to. You can't change the real price. You can inflate it or suppress it, but the real price is, you know, known only to the participants in the market. What they're willing to pay for it and what should be paid for it. That's the only person that can determine market prices. If it was up to the greed of the CEOs of the oil companies, and that's what was causing this, we'd have $10 a gallon gas. Because don't you think if they like it at $3, they'd like it at $3.50? And if they like it at $3.50, don't you think they'd like it at $4? And if it was simply up to them and it was greed that was causing this whole thing, well, they'd just bump it to $10 right now. They'd just say, poof, $10 a gallon, we'll take all those extra profits. But no, we realize when you set it that high, that it's impossible. Why? Because the market won't bear it. But the market right now seems to bear about $3.25. Seems to bear it. Matter of fact, I say they may be underpricing a little bit according to the market, because the market demand for oil grew 3% from last year to this. It'll grow another 3% from this year to next. So why are we so surprised when the price goes up? You know, if the housing market went up and all of a sudden houses that had been sold for $100,000 were now worth $150,000, and this happened in your area, let's say a major employer decided to build a plant in your town, and all of a sudden all the people were going to be flocking there to try to buy homes and get jobs there, and you sold your home for $150,000 and you only paid $100,000 for it, should we accuse you of price gouging? No. If somebody wants to pay you that, that's what's fair. Well, if somebody wants to pay or does pay, you know, the person that buys your house for $150,000 probably would like to buy it for $0 or at least $100,000. But there are not an infinite number of houses, only a certain number of houses, only a certain number of people willing to sell their house, so they have to take the lowest price that they can bear. And so they pay. And if that was paying you, you'd take it in a heartbeat. But if it's oil companies, oh, they're gouging us. Well, they can't just gouge you without your consent. You have to have a house. Everybody says, oh, you have to have gasoline. Well, you have to have a house. You can't live without a house. Everybody's got to have a house. Shouldn't be fair for somebody to pay that much for a house. Well, guess what? It's determined by the market. The housing industry, the cell phone industry, the pharmaceutical industry, all these industries had higher profit margins than the gasoline companies. Why don't we have the cell phone executives up in front of Congress? Why don't we have the housing executives up in front of Congress, especially the housing? Everybody's got to have a house. Where are those executives? Pharmaceuticals, everybody's got to have medicine. Why don't we have them up there? the price of eggs, milk, and corn have gone up at the same rate as the price of gasoline in the last year. Where are the egg executives? Where are the milk executives? Where are the corn executives? Oh, these guys are poor little farmers. No, they're rich corporate businessmen, just like the CEOs of Exxon and ConocoPhillips. We just have a pretty image in our head of the farmer, and we have this bad, evil image of the oil man. Or maybe what's more important is Democrats think they're going to make the oil men look bad because the stupid American public sees a correlation between the Bush presidency and the oil men. Maybe this is really political about making somebody look bad. You know, and what's worse is we pretend as if they could do anything about it anyway. You know, we could give them all the authority in the world and say, fix it. We could trample the Constitution and say, fix it. They could set prices down at $2.50 and $3 a gallon, and they can't do a single thing about it because the market intuitively knows. That's the funny thing about it. They act as if they could do something about it if they were given the power. Of course, it's unconstitutional for them to do that, but they couldn't do anything even if they had the authority. We saw what happened when Nixon and Carter tried to do that. If you're my age, 30 or so, talk to your parents about waiting in line. If you have a certain colored car, you got gas on this day. If you had a license plate starting or ending with odd numbers, you got gas on this day. And you could only get so much gas. Well, it wasn't because there was no gasoline in the world. They put a tax on profits. More or less price capping. People dropped out of the market. There wasn't enough supply of the stuff. Guess what that did to gas prices? Through the roof. So the thing that was designed to give us lower prices gave us higher prices and gave us less gasoline. Imagine that. Government screwed it up. They can't do anything about this. This is a dog and pony show. This is a parade for people to try to get reelected. Say they try to fight against big oil. Try to impress you so you'll donate money or give them your vote. And what is more, what they want more than getting reelected, of course they want to get reelected, is they eventually want to break the back of private business. They want the authority to be given over. And they'll start with gas prices, because people will get behind them on gas prices because they're getting high right now. And enough people are upset that we'll give over the power to regulate the gas companies because they're evil, nasty, greedy gas companies. But you know what? The second we give the authority over, they're going to say, we've got the authority. Then they're going to regulate home prices, and you won't like it so much. Then they're going to regulate what you can sell your car for, what people can charge you for milk prices, and everything else that happened in the 70s with the regulation of the gas prices is going to happen to milk, it's going to happen to housing, it's going to happen to cars, and we're going to say, oh, you don't have the authority to regulate these prices. That was just for the oil industry. And they're going to say, you know what, if we can regulate the oil industry, we can regulate industry X, and you have nothing to say about it. You've already given us the power. You know, and if we give them the power to regulate the oil industry, it'll have disastrous consequences in the oil industry. You can be assured of that. But it'll have disastrous consequences on your right as a private individual to buy and sell things as you please. And if you don't have that right, what right do you have at all? Just about none, I figure. And I think that's exactly how the do-good politicians like it.